All right, guys. This is custom creator Danny Lee OGT here. That is my partner in crime, OG. I went the wrong damn way. OG, I was on the other side, so I was pointing the right way. But so he's been under the weather lately, and I have heard this song many times. I appreciate Gary Goodman and Block. Hold on. What was the name I gave you just a second ago? I don't want to say it wrong. Yeah, Sean Brock. Sorry, I just didn't want to get it wrong. And we appreciate, I for one, so appreciate the camaraderie and the engagement in the Hank Williams Jr. reactions because they mean a lot to me. And OGL has already become a Hank Williams Jr. fan himself. Then Waylon, and maybe not so much Tool, but we're still converting him to some degree. But I am going to do a few things and get ready. I'm going to leave you here with OGL, and he's going to react to a song that, well, you can trace it back a long way, but you can't trace it back to who wrote it. It's one of the only songs I know that's like that. There's been over, what we pull up at one time, 113 artists.
Something like that. Yeah, and I was starting to get a little bit, I was starting to eliminate like non-English speaking covers. There's probably at least 150 artists that have covered this, and even that might not. I've heard of the song, the title, "The House of the Rising Sun." I think the version I was familiar with was by a group called the Animals. But yeah, this traces back a long way. Like no one really, all the bands that have covered it, no one really knows where it originated. So it's got a lot of mystery about it.
And like I said, it's like the only song like that. So we'll get into it. This is the live version. He has tell him about the one time I played it, and hell, it's been back before he was ever on the channel reacting. So it's been in the Discord when we were jamming.
Yeah, that's pretty much what we used to do. We would pop up in either Danny had his own Discord, still does, and we would just hang out and play each other music. And one of the songs he played me was House of the Rising Sun by Hank Williams Jr. Now, I knew the name Hank Williams Jr., but as Danny's taking me down this trip here, revisiting all this old outlaw country and whatnot, I had no idea who Hank Williams Jr. really was. So many things about him. His accident, I didn't know. His musical abilities, I did not know. But when Danny played this for me, back in the day, if you will, Hank's voice blew me away. So, but I think sufficient time has passed. I don't remember a whole lot of details. I just remember it being really awesome. So I would love to take a deep dive into the House of the Rising Sun. Let us begin.
There is a house in New Orleans. They call it Rising Sun. There's been a run of many a street guitar boy. God, I know. My man was a king. She said, my newest blue jeans. Oh, my daddy was a honky-tonk rambling man. Got a good reputation down around Montgomery, Mobile, Biloxi, and New Orleans.
And with the pause there is because I'm already halfway through. Hard to find a good spot to pause with this. So right off the bat, you can tell Hank is improvising some additional lyrics here. Danny has told me that is a hallmark of live Hank Williams Jr. You're very seldom going to get the same song the same way twice. He's always improvising stuff, especially cussing. There's a lot more cussing live from what I hear, but yeah, he's just that kind of performer that's comfortable enough that he will improvise things. Once again, you hear Ramblin' Guitar Man. That's a signature of Hank. And Hank is, in fact, a guitar man. He's also a piano man and a drum man, and obviously a vocal man. His vocals at the start had that hardcore country twang to them. It sort of you had the vowel modification to where it, I don't want to say it sounded slurred, but it was sort of blent together. And then he just brings this ridiculous power into his voice. And then there's some grit that's entering as well. Yeah, that blew me away when I first heard it. Because the stuff I heard from Hank, like I said, I recognized that the twang and his unique diction, but I had no idea he had that kind of power in his voice. Uh, really impressive. Hank is known as a consummate entertainer. Definitely think he needs more credit for his musical skills because he can play just about any instrument. He plays them all really really well, and yeah, that voice is that power definitely something I was not expecting out of Hank. So I'm going to go back here a little bit. If I'm not mistaken, I think the song is essentially about someone going to New Orleans and getting in a bit of trouble, for lack of a better term. That's essentially what I read, but obviously all songs have their room for interpretation. But I'm just going to get down with some Hank vocals here.
Daddy was a honky tonk rambling man. He got a good reputation down around Montgomery, Mobile, Biloxi, and New Orleans. Now the only thing that a gambler needs is a suitcase and a trunk. And the only time that we are satisfied is when we got a number one song or we're on a party drum. Yeah, all through time. There's a house in New Orleans. They call the rising sun. And it's been the ruination of many street guitar blues, boy. God, oh, young one.
Okay, so I did want to comment on the arrangement here because it's really simplistic. That guitar sounds beautiful. I like how he's alternating between picking things out and then a strumming pattern. It keeps things dynamic, but still simple. It's a perfect little, I guess, bed of sound for his music, for his voice, excuse me, to both rest on and sort of jump off of. And it's kind of hard to analyze this because this is really all about the feels. Hank is just going for it here. Doesn't care if his voice breaks, doesn't care if it maybe falls off pitch here and there. He's just trying to convey a message, and he is doing so very, very forcefully. I like how he pronounces New Orleans. I always pronounce it New Orleans. So that could just be my Yankee side. That could be my bumpkin side. But he goes to the New Orleans. It's very cool. Almost adds like an exotic feel to the proceedings. We go back here just a bit. All right, take us home here, Hank. So I've heard a couple of versions of the song. Like I said, there's a version by a group called the Animals. I remember hearing a acapella rendition of this, and it's a solid song structurally, melodically. It's got a really it has a good melody to follow. It sort of worms its way into your head. I This to me is the benchmark as far as performances of this song go, just because it's got so much, for lack of a better term, so much aggressive emotional punch. Um, Again, the theme being someone getting into trouble in New Orleans, you either feel that rebellious nature that got that person into trouble in Hank's voice, or the desperation to get out of the situation. Yeah, he has so much power in his voice here. It's amazing. I again, I never would have expected that a few months ago. And I think that's one of the great things about having a channel like this is, you react to songs based on, requests, or you do songs for friends or whatnot, and you end up hearing things and analyzing things that you might not have listened to on your own. Again, I knew of Hank Williams Jr. No idea he was this much of a badass musically before Danny took me on this ride, and it's still ongoing. Hank's got a long, long career of amazing performances, and I can't wait to do more. But yeah, this one will leave an imprint. It'll leave an imprint on your heart, leave an imprint on your soul, definitely leave an imprint on your ears. Yeah, Hank is just an absolute beast, and I think his singing and his guitar playing in particular definitely should get more recognition. I think sort of his legend status almost um, becomes a it becomes its own thing. You think of Hank Williams Jr., the entertainer, the complete package. You don't realize how he became a legend. Those musical skills, just those that onstage charisma, and again that ability to do whatever the fuck he wants with his voice. It's amazing. So I could be a rambling man myself, but I'm just going to cut that off and say this is the version of House of the Rising Sun. If you haven't heard it, I mean, hopefully you've heard it now, but listen to it, play it for a friend. Yeah, Hank is the real deal. No doubt about it. Man's a legend. Thank you all so much for watching. Mental health is real. Hank Williams Jr. is as real as it gets. Take care of yourselves. You can take care of others, and we'll be seeing you guys around.